Nintendo just dropped a 6-minute overview trailer for Pokemon Legends ZA, and as someone who has played Legends ZA so many times, like at Pokemon Worlds, at PAX West, as well as Nintendo's Holiday Showcase, where I was one of the first people to get my hands on ZA in handheld mode, as well as playing it again on the TV, and even being flown out by the Pokemon Company themselves to Paris to play a Legends ZA preview build that was different than the previous one. So I've played this game a lot. So in this video, I'll be breaking down exactly what I see in this overview and how to prepare yourselves for the upcoming Legends ZA games. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's jump right in. So for this analysis, I do have my big mouse so we can point out some stuff. Anyway, here we are in a scene that is very familiar to the nighttime scene where we were walking around in a previous preview with Zygarde dog form, who was leading us to a Mega Lucario. This is where it started, around this area, and here's some markets. And also want to point out the Pidgeys here can most likely be caught because Legends ZA showed us that we can catch these Pokemon live. Like if they're not even in the wild zone, they're just floating around, or there's somewhere you can throw Pokeballs at them, which is really, really nice. Here's a quick shot, your character using a Rotom phone to get across the rooftop here. I do want to point out this is the Lumiose train station where you do enter the game. So you're entering like right from this spot over here, which is really nice. And that's you get across roofs. Here's Emma. Emma's going to be in charge of handing you missions throughout the game. One of the notable spots where she was seen was during the Rogue Mega Absol fight during one of the world's previews that a lot of people were able to try out and play. This was the battle with Mega Lucario versus the Mega Absol, and it looks like her missions are going to be centered around specifically going after these rogue Mega Evolutions and these anomalies that are happening throughout Lumiose City. Quick shot of AZ right over here, quick shot of Mega Evolution over here, and we are now in the title screen of Pokemon Legends ZA, which is really nice. Now, while this shot looks like a basic pan angle of just zooming in ZA, I want to point out how insane this is. Besides just walking on the streets, which is something I thought was just going to happen, we have access to all these rooftops, and if you really look, you can access a lot of these rooftops that you see here. So over here is a little spot where, you know, someone's sitting down. There's ladders that bring you up to a higher rooftop over here. You can see that right over here are Mega Z Shard crystals that you can break, that they give you these Mega Shards, and then you can turn in these Mega Shards at Quartzartico Inc., and they'll trade you for Mega Stones. So you can farm these on rooftops, on the floor, everywhere. These pink stones are scattered throughout. Also, there are a lot of open areas. This spot over here is open. There's tons, and these rooftops are accessible just by walking in the towns normally. You can access them by being in wild zones, by taking Holovators, or just climbing up, as well as even doing them during ZA Royale. So it's good to note that the game is not just one layer dimensional where you're just walking on the bare floor. You're also being able to access the rooftops. And in a quick shot in another trailer, they showed that we were able to actually go in the underground. That's really cool. There's an underground to this area, but it might be for zone specific, so I don't want to hype that up until we have full confirmation on that. All right, Lumiose City. Also, here is a wild zone number 2 right over here. It's the little park one that we were introduced to in earlier trailers. All right, here's a quick shot. We have different ways to access the roofs, as I was mentioning. We have the stairs that go up here, or the ladders, stairs over here, ladders that go up, as well as just instant teleporting via these Holovators. Also, please note the Pokemon that you do see. There's a Pidgeotto, Pidgeot, and then we have a Caesar over here. A lot of the Pokemon in this region are going to Mega, as you can tell. Here is a shop over here that they sell. Looks like a bunch of berries over here. Maybe there's TMs. I don't know. I'm not too sure what these people sell on the left side here. You go see there's wild Pokemon hanging out, and as I mentioned before, it looked like you could catch wild Pokemon unless they are someone's, you know, owned Pokemon. So anytime you see it, you can catch it. Also, really cool to note that they're showing customizable backpacks here and outfits. So I wonder if, based on what the trainers are wearing here, could these things be available in the shops as well? Especially that he has a customized backpack and he has an Ultra Ball. I don't know if that's a haircut or a cap on him, but pretty cool to see that they have these styles and designs of the game. Here's another shot. It's just cool that they have passively Pokemon hanging out even on little spots like this. Like there's a little Patrat here. There's just open streets here. We can climb up the ladder to get to the top of the buildings. And here's a Metagross and a Riolu. And of course, they have their own versions of Mega. Here's another quick shot. These are neither trainer characters, so you'll probably come across NPCs that are just duking it out in areas, which is nice to have a little more variety of NPCs doing different things. Also, peek the Pumpkaboo back over here. And also, we have a fossil Pokemon out in the wild. So maybe because we're in the future, we don't have to revive fossils anymore because they're just roaming around and there's plenty of them and everyone breeds them. So fossils are probably exploring and having their own area. And also my favorite Pokemon, Tyrantium, counterpart is going to be in this game. So wild fossil Pokemon in the open confirmed. Also cool Salamence here. All right, here's another shot from the intro of the game. Your trainer comes out of the train station. Looks like he's holding on to his luggage that he walked out with. He's looking at Lumio City. We have a Guja here. Also confirmed that Hisuian Guja is compatible via Pokemon Home via the website. So that's really cool to note as well. Let's see what else we got going on in the shot here. Here's your trainer. Sorry about the artifacting. And here are the starter Pokemon that he sees for the first time. Here's another shot of the trainer with their Tepig. Again, this is the train station over here. We got a little Go-Goat pre-evolution Skiddo in the background. Here's another shot. As you can see, there are little cafes in almost every location. So there's a cafe hanging out over here. And we got a little Larvitar here. And the NPCs are just doing their stuff. All right, now we've reached the point of adventuring through Lumio City. And this is Wild Zone 1, which is one of the original Wild Zones that was shown off previously when they showed off this game. We have Scatterbug, we have Fletchling, we have Mareep just hanging out in here. And these Pokemon seem to repeat quite a bit. Here's Wild Zone 11, where we have a Gyarados, we have a Clauncher, which is a lot more diverse here because this is like a little park. That's nice. And then here is a Wild Zone they didn't really show off too much. You can see the entrance for the Wild Zone is back here. We got Larion. We got, I have my Pokemon card here for reference because sometimes names just fall out. Helioptile in the background, hanging out over here. And you see these objects right in the background here. Now, in this game, they have a bunch of objects just like this. Like, they have these little slime rocks, which I use water Pokemon to get rid of in Wild Zone 6 when I was playing that one during Paris. And it looks like in this exact Wild Zone that it's teasing that, hey, these rock, steel-type Pokemon are going to be able to break this. Maybe ground types, rock types, steel types might be able just to break rocks, which are obstacles that are happening everywhere in this game. A lot of these rocks were actually blocking people when they were playing the Legend ZA demo for the first time at Worlds. Right before you entered the battle zone or you walked further, you saw these rocks. So interesting that they use these blocks, which means they're barricaded by certain typing of Pokemon. All right, here is just showing off some targeting features. You can see that Scatterbugs are fully aware of you, but they're not running away from you, and they're not even attacking you. They're a very neutral Pokemon, and every Pokemon behaves differently as well. Here we go. The trainer is locking on by holding the LZ button on the Nintendo Switch, and then they're just throwing the Pokeball. So you can catch Pokemon just like that. You can also catch Pokemon as they're attacking you. It doesn't matter. You can throw Pokeballs at any time during this game. And once you catch the Pokemon, you can instantly see that it gets registered. The Dex numbers over here, you get the experience as well. Right over here, and you can see that they show up as well here immediately into your party. Here's another shot. This is Wild Zone number 5, which was not shown off too much, so we got some new footage here, and we're facing off an aggressive Pokemon. Here's Bunnelby taking a mud shot at you, and you can see your trainer throws out a Tepig, and I want you to pay attention again. I want you to pay attention to this fight because there's gonna be some cool stuff here. So you can see that Pokemon is, it knows you're there, you're engaged in the fight, and it's gonna use Mud Shot, which is super effective on Tepig here. Now, pay attention right over here. You're going to see that Tepig can't move as quickly anymore, and the confirmation for that is based on the status moves right here. We have attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed as indicated by this, and it matches up perfectly where Tepig can't move as quickly anymore with the blue icon of speed being down. And this is time-based, which means after a few seconds or a certain time has passed, Tepig's speed gets right back to normal, because again, this is not a turn-based game, this is a time-based game, because that's how the moves work. The game will also pretty much emphasize this by showing off this spot here, saying that Ember is going to have its own timer versus Tackle. So you're going to see there is an Ember happening right there, and Ember is going up on its own timer, while the Pokemon can also use Tackle as well, and it just spams mud shot. All right, so here's something cool. It says that your Jolteon or Voltali is using Thunder Wave, and for everyone's context, we are now in Wild Zone number 10 on top of a roof, because Wild Zones, like I mentioned, are below and above. So Voltali uses Thunder Wave to cause paralysis, which the status effect is indicated by this mark over here. Watchdog uses workup, and then you get the notification that Watchdog is paralyzed, so it can't move as quickly anymore. So it seems that all your moves are slowed down. The speed is slowed down. So status effects are really big in this game, by the way. You can see that it uses workup. So right over here, its special attack rises and its attack is risen right over here. Here's another scene in Wild Zone 12 where you are battling a wild Heracross. There are also pincers in the zone. For everyone wondering, the counterpart exists here. And I want to point out that some of these moves hurt multiple Pokemon depending on the area of effect. So is Iron Tail, Dig, Rock Slide, Stealth Rock. You can see that its Mega Bars also filled all the way in this shot. Once the Pokemon gets defeated, the same way, look at the XP bars right below me. Everyone gets experience as well, which is really nice. And there is a Pokeball sign here, which means you've probably already caught the Pokemon, which is nice. So we get level, we get the, is it male or female? You can also tell depending on the genders if they have the differences being shown, and the Pokeball. Also, I want to point out that when you do knock out a Pokemon, it's KO'd. This starry effect stays for a certain amount of time, which allows you to catch it, and then it disappears. So shiny hunters, be aware that at any given moment, that Pokemon can disappear if it doesn't stay as long as it needs to be. Here's Wild Zone 6, and as you can see in this shot, it's raining. When I played in Wild Zone 6, it was sunny. Everyone else's screen was sunny. So this means that there is nighttime, there is daytime, and we have weather dynamic effects happening in Legends ZA, and that might really affect the zones. It looks like weather's not affecting this zone because the Houndoom and the Houndowers are still there. There's the Alpha Houndour, and multiple Pokemon can jump you. I did dive a lot more in detail on this Wild Zone in my Legends ZA preview in Paris. So if you want to go take a look at that after this video, I'll probably link that so you guys can watch that. Here's another shot. We are in a graveyard. Crazy, and there is an Alpha Ghastly hanging out. So Alphas, just like Legends Arceus, are going to be for all types of Pokemon, from first stage evolution to second stage to third stage, and you could probably just complete an entire Alpha Dex while you're at it. Now, this scene is taking place in Wild Zone 8 here, and you can see that you are battling an Alpha Camerupt, which also has a Mega Evolution, and you can see there are also shops in the middle of this area. Now, there was a previous trailer that we got, I think it was the final trailer, where it showed this area where it wasn't a Wild Zone, and then it developed into a Wild Zone, which is kind of interesting. It feels like you're turning the entire city into an open area as the game progresses, but I don't know. I'm not gonna speak on that. I have no idea if that actually happens or not. All right, here's another shot of Lumio City, and if you haven't noticed, these sections that you are, depending on where you are in Lumio City, are color coordinated by, you can see things. This is the purple district, or whatever the name in French is for purple district. Like other was yellow, others were green, so you get an idea of the districts you're in and what goes on in that area. So this is another cool shot over here. Here's a cafe shot. I did mention before, cafes are a very cheese spot. So when you're at cafes, you select the item that you specifically want, and then it goes into this cutscene with your trainer sitting there with whatever Pokemon you have with it. I talk about this in my Paris preview, but you can use these locations to cheese Alpha Pokemon if there's a cafe next to an Alpha Pokemon, because the Alpha Pokemon stays the same health that you dropped it down to, and you can heal all your Pokemon from a cafe. So cheese strat. Here's what's really cool. Look at the amount of boutiques in this area where you can shop, and also know that you can see the exact price of the items before you buy it. I'm thinking you're just gonna walk to the front of the door and then it's gonna show up as like items you can buy. I have a feeling you can't go inside. I don't know. It's just my thought. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like because the prices are on the outside, that's why you just, purchase right from there. And you get a good diversity. You got sweaters. I think there's a shorts and leggings, a hat, and a little sweater vest. Pretty nice. Here's some more shots. Also, the characters can get full-blown outfits. Like I put my character in a full samurai looking outfit when I was playing my ZA demo, so they have full outfits as well as these other customization options. It's a lot of customization. I mean, look at this character already. Like, this is another shot over here. Like, this is crazy. Here's a little shop, little zoom in on the character here. Really nice. The photo mode, you can take photos anywhere according to the game, so whatever matches the theme area, just take your shot. Also, diversity. Look at little Pokemon in the background over here, just hanging out while you're taking a picture of you and your Haunter. Also, crazy that there are dead Pokemon and we're in an actual cemetery in this game. Like, this is nuts. And notice the customization and the makeup, like, wow. Now, the next part of this section is the ZA Royale, which we've seen tons and tons of footage for about what happens at nighttime, where you battle, you get a certain amount of points, and then you get a ticket that you can use to rank up. Here is a fight with a trainer using a Fennekin. There was another trainer in my previous preview footage from Paris that used a Froakie, so the Kalos starters seem like they could be caught. We got some battle footage here. Ember, we're getting Rollout, Charm. Charm got used on Tepig, so you can see the attack dropping down. We already discussed this. It's just cool to see the diversity of Pokemon and trainers we have here. Here's a rooftop battle. So in a ZA Royale battle zone area, all you have to do is just climb up a Holovator or teleport up a Holovator, climb up the stairs, and you'll find these trainers on top of various rooftops. And here's one over here where you have an advantage of using your Ghost. What am I saying? Using your Ghost. Using Gust as your Pidgeotto. Here's another one where it's a Charmeleon against a Snorunt. What? Also, fun fact, because you're seeing a Charmeleon on screen, this means you can catch wild Charmanders, right? Or it's given to you as a gift. I'm not too sure, but all I know is this gives the possibility of Charmanders being in the wild, but it gets a Mega, so it makes sense that they would allow you to shiny hunt for something like this. Also, I do want to point out something that my camera has been blocking here. There is actually a timer on your screen right over here, if you pay attention, that goes all the way up until the end, which signifies the end of the ZA Royale. So you want to get your maximum amount of tickets before the time is up and the next day starts. So really cool feature that a lot of people missed in previous trailers, including myself. Here is Machoke getting wrecked. That looks like Wild Zone 10 area. Here is a rank up match. So this is the Rank Z next match. Yeah, it looks like that was the guy that gets you to Y. And then in my Paris video, we did the rank up match that brought us to Rank V from W to V. So you get an idea of who these people are. Pretty cool. And there's one for every single match. Corbo looks like someone that's going to be a lot later in the game. But yeah, we have a Hippowdon versus an Arbok here. Advantage. Pretty nice. There was also a picture that a Nintendo trailer posted where it was a Gardevoir versing the Arbok. Interesting choice for battle because Psychic is good against Poison, but then Poison's good against Fairy. So I'm not sure if that was a good decision or not. Okay, then we reached the Friends in Lumio City. So this is Hotel Z right over here, and inside it looks, you know, really nice. The Nintendo event I went to in New York for the holiday themed tried to decorate their area that looked like this, which was kind of cool. But yeah, here's Hotel Z. Here's your squad that you get, and depending on who you pick as a main character, that's gonna determine whether you get Urbane or you're gonna get Tawny, which is pretty nice. We also have our other people in our party. Over here is Lita, and as you can see, Lita likes rocking Staryu stuff, which brings us to the assumption that she's gonna have a Mega Starmie just based on the fact that she Mega evolves in a cutscene, and that's her main Pokemon. It makes sense in the Mega game. This guy's got a Scrafty. This is Naveen, and he's gonna probably have a Mega Scrafty. So there's Team MZ on the wall. Here's you know, AZ himself with the Eternal Floette, who I'm hoping also gets a Mega, and then we can catch it finally officially in the game. We got Emma. Then we have Quasarico, who are, you know, they're probably in charge of all the research and all the scientific stuff happening in the region. This is where you're also going to be going to their headquarters to turn in Mega Shards for certain Mega Stones for specific Pokemon. We have our Professor, who used to be on Team Flare. And yeah, this is the meeting table, so where cutscenes happen. So you get to know a couple people. Now, let's talk about Rogue Mega Evolution. Anything here? Rogue Mega Evolution is a way of getting certain Mega Stones in the game too. This was Mega Absol, and this was the big highlight of the game where we battled this Pokemon, and then when you beat it, you get the Mega Evolution Stones. You get the Absolite when you beat them. So certain Pokemon are locked to Mega battles, certain Pokemon are locked to trading them in for Mega Stones, and certain Pokemon are locked into buying it from Quasarico Inc. So they're split up in 3 ways to get Mega Stones. Here's just some rogues for you guys to see, so you know the Absol's a boss fight. We got Tyranitar's a boss fight. Mega Banette is a boss fight. Mega Dragonite's a boss fight. And the cool thing is you also have trainers to assist you during these fights, and they probably have Mega Evolution eventually as you proceed forward. Rogue Mega Dragonite's level 59. This is a little bit more later in the game for sure. For sure. Also, you can see the trainer here has a Charizard, a Lucario, Machamp, 2 Megas right here. Machamp, a Gardevoir, and Lucario, which is pretty nice. Unless there's a secret Mega I'm not aware of. There we go. There's the Mega Tyranitar scene. We also did Mega Victory Bell. Mega Victory Bell was a fun one in the Paris preview. So if you didn't see that, again, linking that at the end of the video. You can Mega Evolve multiple times during these fights, and you can Mega Evolve multiple Pokemon during these fights, which makes it very fun, dynamic, and good. Here's just some old Megas from back in the day. Mega Salamence, Baneri, Mega Charizard Y, Mega Steelix, Mega Caesar, and Mega Gyarados Shrimp. So Mega Banette in this shot is level 41, probably before the Dragonite that you're going to be fighting, the Mega Dragonite. And each of these Pokemon have their own unique attacks. These are legit boss fights. They function all very differently. you can see that it's just teleporting, doing different things. Rogue Mega Tyranitar is just making these big area of effects. Like, the boss fights are great. Now we're jumping into Link battles, the ZA Battle Club. So we're getting ranking over here. So let's just back up a little bit. This is the online feature. I know a lot of people are upset about having to go online and rank up to do matches in order to get the Mega Greninja Stone, which is going to be Season 1, followed up by the, I believe, Fennekin's Mega Stone, and then Chestnut's Mega Stone. But it is what it is. I mean, even if we're all upset, I personally wish too it was not via the online matches, but it is, which I guess they're trying to give us motivation to play online. Also, fun fact, Pokemon does not make money off of the Nintendo Switch Online memberships. So just want to point that out for anyone who didn't know that. Anyway, on the screen, you can see that we have our main character Paxton, and you can see the Novice Trainer. So we can see the ranking system here, Novice Trainer. And this is the mode you're going to rank up in. Basically, you can play super aggressive here, get points, or you can kind of be that person who hovers off on the side and then just attacks everyone. It's good to see here that when you hit Pokemon, they do drop their Mega Energy that fills up your bar on the bottom right. So it seems like you have to do damage in order to Mega Evolve. Also, fun thing about this video is you get to take a look at Mega Malamar's Mega Stone for the first time, which confirms it's not one of those strange stones that you saw in the Pokemon Legends ZA DLC. Also, I want to point out something really interesting about this specific fight. There are 3 Mega Pokemon currently in the arena, like fighting, as in Caesar is a Mega, Baneri is a Mega, Manectric is a Mega, and then we just have Pyroar fighting against 3 Megas, also trying to grab Mega Energy on the floor, which is kind of interesting here. Possible Mega Pyroar. Come on, please, Pokemon, do it for us. Then we have this Mega Manectric, just this like charge in on this shot, by the way. This is the player who waits for opportunity and just jumps right in for knockouts. There it is. Mega Malamar, we got Mega Gyarados, Mega Alakazam. They're all on the field. A nice shot of Hyper Beam, and there's a timer for exactly how long the match is. So whoever gets the most points by the time ends, you rank up and you move on. Luckily, this isn't VGC, so you don't have to use your big brain. You just have to protect and use attacks and survive. Now, we've reached the final part of this trailer, but there are still more things over here. Here's just a quick fight with Chikorita versus Totodile. It looks as usual, your rival is getting the weaker Pokemon than you. Little, overview of the characters again. We've seen all these guys. Okay, quick shot over here. You have a Noivern. I wish it was Mega Noivern. All right, we have Charizard. We have a Noivern fighting here. We got Dragonite and a Pidgeot. They're all just having a grand old time. 3 of these confirmed for Megas. I'm praying Noivern gets one in the DLC or in this game. I really hope so. More Mega Evolution happening. This is a shot that everyone needs to be extremely excited about. We have a Heavy Ball, we have a Love Ball, and we have a Lure Ball, which means Apricorn Balls are a thing in this game, and I really hope it's much more accessible than, here's just one, guys, have fun with it. I hope we can buy as many as we want to catch whatever Pokemon we want in whatever Pokeballs they provide. I think having the option to have the choices of what ball you want to use in your Pokemon is a very big deal, and people love matching Pokeballs to Pokemon. Here's a quick shot of what trading looks like. It looks like they are trading their Kadabra, and this Kadabra is going to evolve into Alakazam when it can trade to the other person, and this Scyther is most likely holding a Metal Coat and is going to turn into a Caesar when traded to the opposite side. What we don't know is if this game is going to have the Game Boy Link cable, which allows you to just put that on a Pokemon to evolve it, as opposed to having to trade it. I hope they do stick with that, by the way. Here's a shot of Mega Victory Bell if you want to see that fight. That is in my Paris preview trailer, but they have just a little couple shots here. Again, pay attention to all the Pokemon on the bottom as we're going over stuff. Here's some more Megas they're showing off. These are the online rank up ones that you have to do. They're not specific on the rank up, but here they are, the Mega Kalos starters. They do exist. They're battling here in the open. There we go. That one was in a battle zone. Royale, and this shot is after you just defeated a rogue Mega Pokemon. There's the rooftops we talked about in the earlier part of the video where they are accessible, and that's pretty much my take on the breakdown of Legends ZA. If you enjoyed this video, you should check out this video over here to get you ready for Pokemon Legends ZA. Seriously, click on it. It's pretty good.